is the desert. Hot, forbidding, yet magnetic in its allure, breathtaking in its grandeur, endless in its resources, and relentless to those who encroach upon its sun-parched reaches. The desert is dry and lonely, occasionally shocked by violent storms, but entrancingly beautiful to those who see in it the last great frontier of a great land. But there is a new desert. A desert conquered by modern man and tamed to provide modern pleasures, modern excitement, and to produce for a modern economy. It is a desert of homes, of people, of recreation, and scenic views, and of interest and promise. And this new desert is at its finest at Borrego Springs. Here the pleasant desert life is lived to its fullest. First and most important in the design of a desert home is not to throw up merely a shield against the ever-present sun, but to arrange the facilities of the home both inside and out to take full advantage of the healthful, invigorating rays. Most Borrego Springs homes follow the traditional one-story ranch style, with such features as broad eaves, adobe walls, slanted windows, breezeways, filtered sunlight, insulation and air conditioning. These all combine to make desert living as comfortable as that in any section of the country. Pools and patios are trademarks of desert living, and Borrego Springs homes are scenes of fun, relaxation, and social entertainment, lavish or modest. A new and vibrant community in which one of the first 2 microwave telephone communication systems in the nation was installed. Borrego Springs is 90 miles from San Diego in the Pacific Ocean. Established in the heart of 50,000-acre Borrego Valley in the northeast corner of San Diego County, it is surrounded by 461,000 acres of protected land, known as Anza-Borrego State Park, the largest in the nation. Borrego has abundant warm water, sunshine, and clear air, and perhaps the oddest named roads in the country. Water is the key to the valley's successful development. Rains, only occasionally heavy enough to produce surface water, are insufficient to provide beneficial irrigation. The answer lies in a huge underground water-saturated basin peculiar to the valley, into which wells can be drilled easily and water pumped to the surface economically and in large quantities. The exact nature of the basin is not known, but apparently it resembles a large cup. Water is held at various levels in the strata of sand, gravel, yellow clay, and boulders. Water-producing wells have been drilled here as shallow as 50 feet and have gone as deep as 900 feet without reaching rock bottom. Although streams like Coyote Creek and others in the surrounding watershed do produce new water, emptying into the basin as they disappear underground, this volume of water is not considered sufficient to meet Borrego's demands. Experts theorize that either the underground basin has another source of supply or is so large that it stores a truly unlimited amount of water. Daily pumping from this basin sometimes exceeds that of a city the size of San Diego. After years of such pumping, the water table under Borrego shows no signs of overall reduction, thus giving convincing support to its long-range dependability. Today, more than 4,000 acres of this valley are under cultivation, and approximately half of this acreage is used for the growing of some of the earliest and highest quality grapes. The DiGiorgio Fruit Corporation, one of the world's largest, planted grapes here shortly after World War II, which proved Borrego's agricultural potential when warm water was mixed with its fertile soil. DiGiorgio, together with several smaller growers, shipped more than 250,000 lugs of grapes valued at more than $1 million. Thompson Seedless, a green grape, is the main crop, while Cardinals, an earlier red grape, Red Malaga, and Ribere, a black grape, make up the balance of the crop that is highly prized not only for its excellent quality, but because it hits the markets in late May and early June. Complete processing of the grapes in Borrego includes packing and shipment in refrigerated trucks to railheads in Imperial Valley for further shipping to eastern cities. In the Great Plains states of the Midwest, corn must be knee-high by the 4th of July if the crop is to be a good one. But this gauge does not apply here, where, because of warm sun, water, and soil, corn is a wintertime crop. About 250 acres are planted to sweet corn, known as T-strain, across of Golden Bantam. The crop annually exceeds $100,000 in value. On one farm, the yield has equaled 200 crates to the acre, with about 5 dozen ears to the crate. The picking continues over a 6-week period. Here, cotton, in its early stages, is being watered. It reaches maturity in a matter of a few weeks. San Diego County's only cotton acreage is located in this valley. Although only about 300 acres are planted to this colorful crop, the yield per acre is almost double that of the national average. Picking cotton takes place in November, with mechanical pickers being used. After picking, the cotton is dumped in piles in the fields and then vacuumed into trucks and taken to gins in the Imperial Valley, where it is baled for shipment. Flowers of all kinds grow in Borrego, some in yards, some in gardens, some wild in fields, and some under commercial cultivation. The growing of flowers occupies less than 20 acres of the valley, but is one of the area's most spectacular activities. Here, at a gladiola ranch, thousands of green spears forecasting the riot of color to come show how both indoor and outdoor growing are used. A plastic hothouse covering 10,000 square feet makes possible an inside temperature of 90 degrees. Glads, planted in the hothouse in October, grow to a height of 5.5 feet and are ready for cutting by the middle of January. The humidity is so great that the moisture actually drips from the roof. The field glads are planted early in November and reach a cutting height of 4 feet by the end of February. Asparagus is another valley crop. Here the tender new shoots push their way through the fertile soil. Later they are cut and made ready for market. Fern-like fields of asparagus are left for seed. It is one of the area's several high-value winter crops. Alfalfa fields are cut 6 to 10 times a year, so rapid is the growth. And cattle are brought into the valley for feeding that puts them in tip-top shape for market. Elsewhere in the valley, nurtured by warm sun and warm water, are grown tangerines, cantaloupe, tomatoes, grain, and the only pink grapefruit raised outside of Texas. For the golfer, Borrego offers not only the pitch and putt course near the Desert Lodge, but also the De Anza Country Club. The country club is planned to combine an unexcelled setting and a golfing layout designed to test the par shooter and to appeal to the everyday links enthusiast. It is one of the finest desert courses in California. Recreation takes other forms, too. There is jeep riding on the open desert or along the foothills. The broad, flat valley and the surrounding mountains are popular not only with rock hounds who search for semi-precious stones and gems, but with anyone who enjoys exploring dry washes, forests of Ocotillo, or the great trailless desert. The desert has excited and challenged settlers and prospectors, agriculturists and developers, beginning with Juan Bautista de Anza. It was he who first traversed the valley in 1774 on his way from Sonora, Mexico to Monterey. Borrego has a series of conducted sightseeing tours that visit such places as Ponce Point, a rugged promontory that commands an unsurpassed view of the valley and of the barren, eroded hills of the Badlands. Named for De Anza's priest and chronicler, this strategic height is reached only by a four-wheel drive vehicle or on horseback. Much of the valley's charm and attraction is due to its scenic and historical setting. The places of interest are extensive. Coyote Canyon, through which Coyote Creek flows the year-round, is a rugged jungle-like cut through the foothills in which relics of early Indian tribes still are found. This was part of the route followed by the De Anza party. At one spot in the canyon, a marker commemorates the place where the first white child was born in California. Split Mountain is located in a remote section of the state park. Here, centuries ago, mighty rock formations were separated by the shifting of the Earth's structure. The force of the phenomenon is demonstrated by comparing the size of the people in the jeeps with the towering rock walls. Not far from here are the only elephant trees to be found in the United States. They are so named because their bark resembles elephant hide. Grotesquely shaped, these rare trees bleed a red instead of a white sap. Nearby are such places as Pound Canyon. A foot trail leads to the canyon from the Borrego State Park campground. At various times during the year, the trail is lined with a variety of wildflowers and flowering shrubs. Sparkling pools, waterfalls, and clusters of palm trees give this lovely canyon its name. And nameplates mark the species of flora for easy identification by the hikers. Clark Dry Lake, once a sizable body of water, now is completely dried up, leaving a huge heat-cracked basin with honest-to-goodness mirages and offering an excellent location for making Western motion pictures and television films. When late autumn and early winter rains come to the desert in sufficient amounts, spring provides Borrego with a setting of extraordinary floral beauty. Blooms of vivid and subtle coloring decorate different kinds of cactus, while the thorny arms of the ocotillo, the valley's trademark, become flame-tipped. Originally sea plants, once covered by a huge saltwater lake, the ocotillo is reported to be second in age only to the California redwoods. Elsewhere in the valley, Joshua, yucca, indigo bush, creosote bush, cactus, lupin, desert primrose, marguerites, verbena, desert asters, desert gold, and desert lilies. Either bloom in clusters or cover the ground like a blanket. Here is a belly flower, compared in size with a cigarette. The belly flower gets its name naturally because you must lie on your stomach in order to get close enough to appreciate its delicate design. Resorts and motels offer a wide variety of accommodations and facilities. Many have swimming pools, making possible additional opportunities to enjoy the desert sunshine. The buildings are landscaped to complement their desert setting. Recreation includes tennis, shuffleboard, badminton, dancing, and party games. But the most popular pastime of all seems to be just a lazing in the sun. Those who live in Borrego, as well as those who visit it, are not content just to drink in its beauty, explore its reaches, or bask in its sun. So they stage events that are filled with fun and excitement. Covered Wagon Days, spelled D-A-Z-E, usually held in October, features the modern covered wagon, the trailer. Trailerites from all over California trek to Borrego for 3 days of fun. This is a popular spot with them, not only because of Covered Wagon Days, but because of the fine facilities of Borrego State Park and Tamarisk Grove. Desert sunsets are world famous, and here their grandeur is unsurpassed. Although Borregoites and their visitors do take time out to admire the colorful close of day, their busy schedule of activities does not relax. The mild desert evenings are ideal for special celebrations, such as the Moon Festival, which is timed to coincide with the coming of the full moon and the first harvest of golden desert corn. The guests, answering the call of an Indian maid, feast on corn, barbecued salmon flown in from the northwest, lobster, king crab, salad, and other delicacies. But when morning comes, everyone is ready for another full day of desert fun. Well, that is almost everyone. In anticipation of the day's activities, celebrants fortify themselves with a typical desert breakfast cooked in the open beneath a towering ocotillo. One of the most unusual celebrations in the nation takes place each summer. Here, the festival queen is crowned appropriately enough with a straw sombrero. With the temperature nudging the top of the thermometer, Borregoites and sun worshippers from far and near pay homage to Old Sol himself in a sun festival that's as gay as it's unusual. Floats call attention to Borrego's place in the sun, and for 2 days, stunts and activities poke fun at the old impression that the desert is no place to be in the summertime. One activity that reflects tradition is the annual Peg Leg Liars Contest, named for a legendary prospector who came out of the desert with the tale of the discovery of a fabulous gold strike. The contest brings prevaricators from far and near to tell their tall tales. Here a peg leg follower sits atop his rock monument and tells 2 companions a story, well, that might sound something like this. And there I was, riding this here mountain lion and licking him every jump with a 10-button rattler that I was using for a whip. Well, right at that time, a bolt of lightning hit us and split us 3 ways from Sunday. And when I came around, I thought for sure I had landed smack in the middle of heaven. But you know, it weren't heaven at all. Now, sir, 'twere the next best thing, though. 'Twere Borrego Springs.
This land has held an attraction for man since the days of Juan Bautista de Anza. From the early 1770s, man has talked about and returned to this land, searching for a personal satisfaction. It is this satisfaction, this searching for individual goals, that has given the desert its multitudinous values. Today, the desert offers lush havens, surprising sanctuaries, real and optical wonders. Today's desert offers luxuriant earth and a fantastic array of natural color and unique plant determination. But probably the greatest attraction of the desert for the modern man is its wonderful serenity. Of course, there are some who just wouldn't accept all of this without a few modern conveniences. Oh, yes, I'm one of those spoiled creatures of our modern mania. I expect comfort, serenity, beauty, privacy, modern conveniences, and, of course, a sound investment. Now, that's rather hard to achieve, but I really believe that I have found the answer to all of my desires here in this valley. I first saw it some 30 years ago, considered myself a pioneer. Today, I'm one of the fortunate ones, lucky enough to escape the tensions of big city life and live in peace and comfort here. It would give me great pleasure to show you what I call a new way of life. A new way of life is a rule rather than an exception in Borrego Springs. This is more than a community. It is the center of activity and home life for an area that is surrounded by a 470,000-acre game and wildlife preserve. Practically everyone has heard of Borrego, but few other than we natives realize how close it is to being the center of the great Southwest. When we consider Borrego the center of a 250-mile circle, the neighboring cities of San Diego, Los Angeles, Santa Barbara, Las Vegas, Phoenix, Tucson, and Yuma are easily accessible from the air or by car. The neighbors of Old Mexico are also but a short hop away. Although air travel is becoming increasingly popular in the desert regions, it is the expanding highway network that enables the people of the Southwest to travel in comfort throughout the immenseness of this region. The more people that visit our area, the more the old misconceptions of desert life disappear, to be replaced with an up-to-date picture of the fun-filled West. The famous recreational area of the Salton Sea is only 30 miles from Borrego Springs. The cooling, timber-topped mountains of Julian are only minutes away from Borrego by car. In the wintertime, snow covers many of these peaks and valleys. Another wonderful attraction of Borrego Springs is the surrounding proximity of the Anza-Borrego Desert State Park. This haven for flora and fauna will remain a protective and unchanging view for those who make their homes here. The park offers a scenic diversity that is forever appealing to the eye. Even we natives of the area are greeted by new colors and formations in the ever-changing beauty of our land. But along with the grandeur of this desert comes the overpowering advantage that here, at long last, is an area that will not become lost by the threat of overlapping communities. These communities have already gobbled up much of the great Southwest and turned it into a continuing patchwork quilt. The Borrego Valley and Borrego Springs is protected against this threat by a state park that completely surrounds it, protecting it from the threatening advance of suburbias. The land here is being used widely for recreation, for homes, and for business ventures to serve the community. With the addition of the day and night airport, more and more visitors are taking advantage of Borrego Springs as a vacation resort. The lure of the championship golf course alone has made Borrego Springs a great stopping-off place for the air-minded sports enthusiast. But the lure is not limited to the golfer. Other attractions in the valley are just as relaxing, just as healthful. And yet the sports activities and the nice accommodations must take second place to the warm, friendly Western spirit that thrives in our area. For those who desire Western adventure in the great outdoors, the surrounding expanse of the Anza-Borrego Desert State Park offers the greatest playground in the nation. For those who wish to cook and sleep in the wide open spaces, there are natural protected settings, idyllic campsites for all. A wide variety of attractions are available to the hiker, the camper, the Jeep tourist, or to the average motorist who enjoys nature. This is the great outdoors, where area expanse is exceeded only by recreational activities. There is entertainment that is active, and there is entertainment that is passive. In fact, entertainment runs the gamut in Borrego, from exercise for the rump to exploration by the bump. Above all else, there is scenery beyond compare for the geology enthusiast, the photographer, the hiker, or the student of history. Here is where the rare elephant tree grows, where the flaming ocotillo flowers, and where the roving eye finds a profusion of color. As an answer to health and relaxation, a few days, a few months, or the rest of your life, Borrego Springs cannot be surpassed. The pace in this area is far removed from the tension of big city existence. There just seems to be more fun and leisure in this new way of life. As a vacation spot, Borrego Springs offers the ultimate in relaxation and fun. There are excellent accommodation, service, and food. Whatever the individual desires or tastes, they can be satisfied in Borrego. The merchants of Borrego Springs are dedicated in their desire to fulfill the needs and wants of the resident and tourist alike. Borrego Springs, with its new way of life, is an entirely new atmosphere in which nature and the residents have blended for a wondrous tranquility. This is the wonderful escape from the pressures of big business that has brought myself and many others to the valley. This is desert living. Healthful, comfortable, peaceful desert living. And in the desert, there's a special time of day as the sun begins to dip behind the mountains and the cool of dusk takes over, when the ever-changing shadows add an extra grandeur to the desert. It is the time when visitor and native alike realize an inborn appreciation for God's wonders. It is this time of day that makes every visitor wish that Borrego was his home. The intenseness of the sunset's beauty is always inspiring, even for the natives. There is a new dawn in the desert of plenty. Borrego Springs is not just any desert, for it has one highly desirable element that sets it apart from others. It makes man's labors in the sun fruitful, and the soil rich with life-giving nourishment. It is the one single element that has brought more man to the desert throughout history than any other attraction. It is an attraction that most city dwellers take for granted, and yet without it, the desert, even this one, would be a wasteland. That attraction, that magic element, sought by explorers and robust pioneers, gentlemen farmers and scientists, is very simply water. It is a prime consideration for resident pleasure and comfort. It is an absolute must for profitable agricultural development. It is a vital concern for the growth of any community, whatever the aspects of desert life, for man or plant. Water is the one element that is absolutely mandatory. But in Borrego Springs, there is an abundance of water. Here, the rich underground watershed can be compared to an oil field reservoir with a rich supply available. In fact, Borrego now produces more water daily than is used in nearby San Diego, a city of more than 500,000. The famed DeGiorgio Fruit Corporation alone has drilled 14 wells in the Borrego Valley, which produce 50 million gallons of water daily. This supply would be adequate for more than 80,000 average homes. It is little wonder that the rich soil will grow literally anything under the desert sun. Borrego is the home of the earliest grapes to reach the eastern market. Here is the entire county allotment of cotton. The rich soil produces 8 crops of alfalfa a year. 160 acres are devoted to the finest asparagus in the nation. And this is the home of the only pink grapefruit outside of Texas. Gladiolas are cut in Borrego to blossom throughout the United States. But with all the demands placed upon the water supply, Borrego's water table has maintained a very safe level. Geologists vary in their opinions on the number of generations that can be supplied from the current reservoir. But with what we now have, and the annual rainfall, which averages 3 inches, there is little danger of the supply running out. One of the wondrous reserves that even we natives fail to remember all the time is the more than 250 square miles of watershed that feeds our reservoir. It is little wonder that natives and visitors alike are carefree. For those times when we are not blessed with rain, we can make our own. The meticulously cared for De Anza Desert Country Club Championship Golf Course can, for instance, be blanketed with 1 inch of water over the entire 18 holes within 24 hours. Although normally, the wonderful greens receive 1 inch of water every 3rd day. But the citizens of Borrego enjoy more than golf. They take into their homes the colors and the textures of their beloved desert. They borrow the brilliant hues of the mountains, the strength of the desert rocks, and the cool sky blue for their pools. But most important of all for the residents of the community are the views they capture from the desert. The ever-changing beauty of the great outdoors is blended with the convenience of sheltered life. The homes know no lack of imagination, no limitations of conventional city standards. The houses are more than weekend retreats. They are homes with color, comfort, convenience. And yet, they are more than showpieces too. They are inviting, functional examples of the desert citizen's taste and hospitality. As the community grows, so must its small businesses and services. The growth of Borrego Springs is slow, steady, building for a lasting future. The progress is planned, the growth healthy. Expansion, yes. Disastrous boom, no. Borrego Springs is here to stay, filling out graciously to improve the community, not to change it. Borrego Springs has a magnetic attraction. For each new visitor, the attraction may be different. If a person wants wide open spaces and a guarantee that he will be forever surrounded by the natural beauty of the Plant and Wildlife Reserve, Borrego is the answer. If it is a pleasing blend of suburban and outdoor life that offers an appeal, Borrego still satisfies the desire. If it is the availability of wonders of the great Southwest with room for roaming, the Anza-Borrego area is the last great frontier. If your wish is for year-round escape from the trying pace of big city life, you will find yourself in agreeable surroundings. If you want luxury, comfort, rest, or health, you need look no further. If you want to get away from the problems of life for a few days and surround yourself with pleasure, Borrego offers an easy-to-reach answer. And when pleasure and business are combined for a gathering of representatives, there is no better gathering place than this healthy, restful atmosphere. The one extraordinary advantage of Borrego Springs is that it offers the businessman everything for work or for play. There is little wonder that the popularity of the area is growing rapidly. A person need only ask himself, where else in the world can this wonderful resort life be duplicated? Borrego Springs has an excellent championship golf course, offering enjoyment to professional and amateur alike. And for the real enthusiast, home sites are available with country club privileges. Where else in the great Southwest can man surround himself with such an expanse of protected, uncommercialized beauty? Where else is such an array of color offered? Where else is there an ever-changing color scheme of the desert in one's own backyard? Where else is the soil so rich, water so abundant, color so vibrant? Where else is there such a flagrant disregard for tension, strife, and big city frustration? For the visitor or for the resident, Borrego Springs offers a more pleasant way of life. The pace is slower here, the enjoyment more lasting. Life is casual as a rule, but it can be exciting. Borrego Springs is not without its spectaculars. Spectaculars and the more traditional everyday way of life have made Borrego Springs a gathering place for new faces. But somehow there is something familiar about the new faces because we expect to see them again. It invariably happens when people come to Borrego Springs. They take one good look and vow to return. And when they do come back, Borrego is ready to welcome them, because we want to share our new way of life.